Welcome back to Behind the Badness, where we talk about business growth, ways to work smarter, and the fundamentals of business, all geared to unlocking your brand's peak performance. I'm your host, James Roberts, owner and founder of Method. And today I'm joined by Scott Rendell from View Media, where we're going to talk about video brochures, what they are, and the ways you could be using them in your marketing strategy. Before I jump in, I wanted to let you know about ways you can contact the show. We have some great content and helpful tips going out on Instagram, where you can find us at hello_method. We also have our new dedicated email address, podcast@hellomethod.co.uk, where you can give us any feedback or give us any questions, and we'll try and answer them on future episodes. So, with no more delays, let's jump in to today's episode: video brochures, what they are, and how they could help your marketing. Welcome to Behind the Madness, Scott. How are you?
Very well, thank you, James. How are you?
Yeah, very well. Very well, thank you. It's
Good.
nice that somebody asks. Nice that somebody asks.
It's rude not
We all
to.
say good, though, don't we? It's
We
this
do.
kind of
Very
thing.
British,
Everybody's okay.
of course.
Nobody has any problems.
Of course.
Um,
Unless it's
right,
too hot or too cold.
No, exactly. Everything's just right. Little Goldilocks. So, let's start off with a bit about you, Scott, and
Sure.
also View Media. So let us know who you are and what you do.
Okay. My name's Scott, as you've introduced me. I'm the owner of View Media. Um, View Media was evolved out of a previous agency that I was with for 20 years. When I was 18 years old, I joined a business that a friend of the family had started, basically print brokering back in 2001, listing paper and business cards and letterheads and concrelade and all the
Oh, they
exciting
were the
carvingless
days.
paper and things like that. So
All the GSMs.
absolutely, yes. So that's sort of where it started. We were in a shed in the back of his parents' house, just me and him. He was sort of 14, 15 years older than I am. And yeah, 20 years later, I left there and the business was £15 million turnover, 55 staff. And during the final couple of years that I was there, we created the View TV brand, which is the video brochure product or video in print product. And yeah, that we sort of extracted that out of the main agency previously. I went and set up my own agency with View TV, and COVID hit and pretty much wrecked it before it got off the ground. Pretty much. So I left the previous agency February 2020 to launch March 2020, COVID lockdown mid-March 2020. So yeah, the product, it wasn't from a standing start because we'd worked on it for a couple of years. So we had a client base and we had a good prospect list and a good whip. And yeah, it was pulled beneath us basically because of the COVID, which a lot of businesses obviously face the same. We were in the unlucky part of it not being helpful.
But you're back. We're stronger. We're building it up again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was always the previous agency. In the end, we'd kind of created an end-to-end agency with creative team in the front, the print management, merchandise, and sourcing in the middle, and then the fulfillment and logistics distribution at the end. So
Mhm.
people could join us at any part of that journey. And generally, it would be the cliche of a one-stop shop where we could look after strategy, creative, as I say, the print merchandise products, storage, fulfillment, etc. So when I started, it was View TV originally. The idea was in time to evolve back into that space. And actually, COVID accelerated that because the product is fantastic for exhibitions, retail environments, and prospecting, and no one was doing it. So
Yeah.
we had to rethink pretty quick of our strategy, and it was yeah, we got through year one with some ups and downs because of lockdowns and the unknown. Um, but yeah, year two has been really successful for us, and we've opened sort of the View TV offering out to sort of my previous 20 years experience with the team. So we're a full stop, shall we say, end-to-end agency with a pure focus on the View TV products as our sort of hero brand.
So obviously you and I met, I think just before COVID kind of hit. I didn't know anything about these video brochures. I think I'd seen them. They were starting to kind of trickle in a few places, very, very quiet though.
Yep.
And Obviously, when we met, I learned more about them. But let's start there. What are, for
Sure.
anybody who's never heard of them, never seen them, what is a video brochure?
So a video brochure has a HD screen integrated into a piece of printed matter, so a printed book, with a memory built in it that auto plays video content generally when the book is opened. No need for Wi-Fi, no need for connections, no need for software upgrades. It's, layman's terms, it's a USB stick with a screen, but hugely impactful in many ways. Um, and you're right. We did Marketing Week Live 2018, 2019, and had a stand at both events. Great event. I don't know if you've ever been, but super event. We had a successful event both times, but based on the seniority of people that go there within marketing, the first year, early 90% hadn't never seen the product, completely wowed by it. The second year was similar. Um, and we were really taken aback by that. And we thought there was, they came to market, I think, early 2011, 2012 originally,
Hmm.
brokered from the Far East, generally lifestyle businesses, very expensive. Cross your fingers, hope they turn up in 4 to 6 weeks. Um, and there were big brands that, we know there were early adopters, but it just didn't quite take on, which again was a massive shock because the products, and as you've seen them now, they're so engaging and our clients get great results from it. So going back to the COVID situation with us launching it as a standalone business, although it put a halt on it per se, it accelerated video marketing as well because that was the basically communication point worldwide, which you can now see obviously through social that you need video. People expect video.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
now this is the video brochures, the video boxes, the video POS, what we do is just an excellent way to create engagement via video communication.
I think from my point of view, we've had years and years of being bombarded through email marketing. It started to go back to print because of being able to go back and actually pick something up and handle something up. So it was always
Sure.
print; it was all we had. Then everybody jumped onto emails because it was a much cheaper way of mass marketing, if you like. But now a lot of companies are going back to this print mentality and
Yeah.
kind of getting things in front of people on their desks. And there's loads of other strategies, sending books, sending other material. But I think this fits in beautifully because, as you said, it is something that I'm still not seeing them mainstream at all.
Okay.
So it's still got that one novelty factor. It's something that is so touchy feely when it comes in through your door. You're definitely going to kind of keep it on your desk. You're going to show other people around the office. But on top of all of that, it's got this message inside it, which you can record anything on, I guess. So you can record anything you like in terms of that message, in terms of that key product push, whatever it might be, and have that on straight into somebody's face and get it across, get your message across. And as we know, video is so impactful because it gets across that message so clearly. So within
Absolutely.
the product itself, any video can just be uploaded onto this. I guess we're not talking a whole film here. We're talking mainly short form video. Is it? What do they tend to be used in terms of the video that goes on?
Well, I'll come back to the usability in just a second because I'm just writing down. There was about 19 questions in that sentence from you. So
Yeah,
I'll
there was
just
quite a lot. Sorry, mate.
so that's fine. But so going back to talk about tangibility, we talk about email, online, digital. Now, late 90s, early 2000s, we were evolving as a print management agency and all new marketeers, got to be digital, blah, 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 blah. Now, 10 years ago, I still believe the same scenario is now when sort of iTunes came along and, people weren't going to buy CDs, not going to buy records. There is always going to be an audience that buys a record. Well, look at records now at the minute. I mean, they've had a massive surge
Yeah.
because we just go around in cycles. And as you well know, James, as a marketeer, that you need these various touch points because everybody has their own opinion and need. So if somebody wants to download something from iTunes, great. But if somebody wants to buy a CD and read the book, then they're entitled to do that. So to have that sort of tied up marketing message, you do need these touch points, and it will always evolve and it will always change. And, you will have those spikes of, as you said, email marketing. Tangibility at the moment has been huge. And I think, again, with lockdown, having been locked away and not that interaction that you would used to, people expect something more now. People expect personalization. You know, you have the mass marketing, obviously social now, and emails a little bit more tricky now with the operating systems that are opening the emails before somebody's opening them. It gives your open rate a bit of a skew, but that there's a place for that. That's mass marketing. You put the net out and you put it wide. But when you're talking about tangible products, when you're talking about personalization, I don't think video brochures can be rivaled in that manner, because number one, it's a way to deliver video communication directly into the hands of your target audience. Number two, you can personalize the products. So each product can be printed. Hi, James, I have this special message for you. Talk about content. Look how good cameras are now. So you can do a talking head video yourself at home, at work, wherever, a 60-second look. I really want to talk to you because our business will benefit your job, your responsibilities, and your business. So, put a QR code on the video brochure, scan it, and put in the form, and I'll give you a call at a time to meet you. The tangibility part of the video brochures that you mentioned, they don't get thrown away. And also, which is a little bit a bummer for us, they never get sent back. So many campaigns we have printed on the video brochures for, businesses that have the environment in mind and they want to kind of be sustainable. Once you're finished with this product, please return to. Now, I'm talking tens of thousands over the years that we've done. Not one have we received back. When we get requested and inundated with samples and then chase them back up after a couple of weeks, have you finished with it? We'd like to send it back. Or can we keep it? Can we keep it? So when people are receiving these products, personalized or not, there is such an engagement and a wow factor. They don't get put in the bin like you would do as a normal printed matter or mass DM, as you did in the late 90s. And there is that tangibility that, can be put on their shelf, sort of in sight, and be returned to and reviewed as and when they want to. More importantly, they get passed around. So even if you do send them out without being personalized to a target audience and it gets to the wrong person, because there is that perception of high value that somebody's gone to this extent to create a video and put it into a screen, to put it into a book, to pack it up, send it out nicely, then, John's going to go and give it to Steve because, Steve, you need to see this. So our sort of engagement rate is really high for our clients. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee conversions, but engagement rate is really, really high. So as you said, it ticks a lot of the boxes in terms of content, tangibility, personalization, and the video communication for marketing purposes.
Yeah, and I think that's it's got so many wins. Do you think there's obviously now where we're talking about it now, and we touched on it with these peaks and troughs of everything kind of going round. Do you think that at the moment, because it's something that's so new, that it's got more of that impact? How long's a piece of string, but how long do you think that would last for? And yeah, I guess that's the kind of the question really is how long do you see it being this wow factor?
I think that's a great question, but with the great answer, it's a piece of technology, so it's only going to evolve. And that's the great thing about it. It's not a new invention because it's been around for 10, 11 years, but because it hasn't caught on, it hasn't progressed. So at the minute, we can supply 360 walk around screens. So great for developers or gaming walk arounds, teasers, etc. Touch screens available. We can put operating systems, Androids, into them so they can be Wi-Fi connected. This really should have been done 2 years after it was launched, but because whether it wasn't marketed properly by the businesses originally or whether it just wasn't cost effective, we're not sure. But it's just going to evolve. I mean, we've created so many sort of intricate, amazing and crazy pieces of product with video screens in. So the video brochures is just an entry point for us or for our clients. We go into the boxes, but then we get really intricate, like blow up acrylic cubes when they get lifted out of boxes. Die cut shells and baby bottles with screens in. It's just like it's crazy but the more crazy, the better for us because we're a group of creative thinkers and we want that opportunity to be able to go, yeah, you can have a brochure and they're amazing. But once you've done that and your clients expect more, then we've got this up our sleeve.
Yeah. What's next?
We have
Yeah.
plenty of options. And the great thing about it or our products is we're not restricted to what we can do. The only restriction at the moment is the screen sizes, but that ranges from 3-inch to 21-inch now for point of sale. So if you wanted a butterfly video box brochure with, we were just talking to a modular building company recently, and they wanted something quite wowy. I won't mention them because it might get sent out, but it's a cube that when you open it up, it has an acrylic window on one side. It's got like a interior design of how it would look. And then you've got the screen on the other side, and there's a brochure that sits in integrated at the top. I mean, it's such a wow piece, and a lot more affordable than people think as well. So it's.
I'm going to come on to cost.
Yeah,
because I think that's the one thing that is probably on everybody's lips. But I want to think about all of those touch points that we had. You can, in terms of marketing, in terms of getting this point across to somebody, it is pretty much, you can think of a use case for that whole user journey, that whole life cycle stage from a new prospect, whether you're doing account-based marketing and that person, you want to do something super targeted, you can send that out all the way through to a customer that's bought from you and just received a product, that you can then send that product out with a welcome. It could be a guide, it could be a thanks for buying, it could be anything, and then even past that to kind of keep them happy. So there are so many touch points. Where do you find the best results, or is it literally across that whole spectrum that you can see some great things?
Yeah. Originally, where we got involved with video brochures, there's a company in the UK that was selling them and shipping them from the Far East that we knew of, and they knew about us, and they approached us and said, "Look, we're getting inquiries from people that want 5 books for next week for a pitch. General London agencies normally. I don't do less than 100. Do you want to get involved in this with your print background?" We were like, okay. We were creative. We liked technology. Thought this could be a nice little string to our bow. So we looked into it, and we could create them in the UK very simply, especially with added personalization. We've got the whole infrastructure to help design it and fulfill it and send it out, etc. So we said, yeah, we'll support you on that, no problem at all. Which was great. Low volume, quick turnaround, fine, nice feedback. But then we thought, is this just a marketing product per se, prospecting, pitching? No, because it's just a way to deliver content. Now, that got our brains thinking. So we had kind of a few internal workshops of what we could do with it. And internal training was one of the main ones that came out of it, the opposite end of the scale of prospecting. So bringing on staff members, especially for big companies with lots of different depots across the UK, and internal training staff, mainly blue collar workers that haven't got access to PCs and laptops, but still need to be trained normally for health and safety. So they would have videos to watch, have to do a questionnaire or a small test before they could go into the warehouse, for example. So you've got that end of this. So we literally flipped it from one side to the other. And then you track back. And as you've already mentioned, upselling what to existing customers. So one of our clients, Dojo, so the payment card, you'll see them everywhere.
Yep.
So when they launch a new upgraded version, they send a video brochure out. In fact, I've got one here. They send one of these out to their clients to say, we've got a new product and we'd like you to buy it, basically. And it's beautifully presented, beautifully designed.
Yeah, right.
And then you've got the video content. Just explains it all. I mean, it's such a engaging and smart way to.
It's simple as well.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's kind of to get across something within a brochure, within a leaflet, within anything that you might be doing in let's say print. We all know that video has a better engagement rate because people they don't really have to turn on their brains so much to have to read or kind of take that information in.
Well,
But
James,
with
just
something where you
briefly, there's a
want,
stat about that, which is why we backed video communication to begin with. So the human brain will kind of absorb 20% of what it hears,
Mhm.
30% of what it sees alone, but almost 50% of what it sees and hears together.
wow, yeah.
So when we
So
kind of started our early days of going, we need to expand this product because we see this an opportunity across various forms of communication. That is science, and I'm
yeah,
not a
yeah, yeah.
scientist, but it
Yeah,
and
and I think we've all seen it now with the rise of short form video that Jamie's constantly popping out on our socials, and the difference in just those that grabbing people's attention for a certain subject matter quick and getting the message across. We see much better engagement rates and over video than anything we've ever done before. As you said, it is easily digestible. And I think with the product as well, it's not something that's complicated. We're not talking that you've got to go down and download an app and there's so many blockers, and then you've got to make sure you've got a Wi-Fi connection. You haven't got
mm,
Wi. There's none of that. You open it, something that
yep,
we've been doing for years and years. You open it,
yep,
it automatically plays the video. It's going back to those old cards that you used to open up and it laughed or it cheered.
yeah,
It's kind of taking that, but it's that simple,
yep.
but beautifully done, and the video kind of sits within it. It's not thick either, so as you showed that product earlier, it's
Yeah, it's about
small.
18 mil thick.
So it is ideal. It
Yep,
works so well with Post. It kind of goes through when it hits. It's got that nice feel about it. I absolutely love them. I think they are brilliant and they fit in so many different ways.
yep.
So let's hit the hard stuff.
Okay,
First, turnaround. So we come to you, Scott. We've got this great idea. We've got the video produced. Let's say, how long to get something printed and turned around for our next marketing campaign?
okay. So one of the USPs for our business and view TV video brochures is there's no minimum order quantity. So if you're new to the product and you're thinking, oh, let's trial 10 to our top prospects or however many you want to, short run up to sort of 50 units, we can turn around in 1 week.
Wow.
Anything intricate, obviously, there's so many variables with that, and it depends on the quantity and the substrates required, et cetera, et cetera. And then the higher volumes, you're looking at maybe 2.5 weeks.
And then the question on everybody's lips, is
Yeah.
this something that is affordable for marketing campaigns?
Okay. So, of course, yes. And the reason being, I'm going to say yes, is that prospecting, let's just take 10 of your top 10 prospects, whether it's part of your account based marketing or you just like, I want to deal with those guys. And you've tried calling them, you sent a few emails, stalked them on LinkedIn, whatever. 10 of them. So, what are you prepared to invest in that prospect? Because you're not going after them because you're going to make 100 quid a year out of them. So, this
No.
would be my explanation. But obviously, it needs to be sensible because social media advertising is cheap. But obviously, it's not effective. Well, it is effective, but it's not personalized, it's not tangible, it's not long
Completely.
lasting,
Yep.
doesn't make a big as impact. So, you're looking at out those 10, you're looking at parting with 50 quid each for a personalized individual. That's based on the A5 video
Yep.
brochure that has a 7-inch screen. Um,
Which, as
so
we've spoken about, £50 for a
which
targeted prospect isn't much.
well, I'd be prepared to spend £50 on a prospective client to try to convert them, knowing that I'm going to get my money back with my first order stroke.
And as
But
we've mentioned, it's a higher percentage of engagement as well. Whether you're going to convert that is obviously slightly different, but that engagement of the product is much higher than anything else. Now, yes,
absolutely,
we kind of mentioned they are relatively cheaper, but you are much more likely to convert that person or even get them to contact you just with that was brilliant
I was about to
than
say
any other media.
100%. So, we always ask for sort of reports back for our clients for their campaigns, so we can, try to monitor it and try to share that data with prospects. But we very rarely get facts and, hard reports or figures, but it's basically, this is the best media we've ever used. And on average, they're getting sort of 70-ish% engagement rate. And as you've already said, some of that engagement is, I will take his call. I know he's been bothering me, but he's made an effort, or he or she has made this effort. So I'm going to at least accept their call.
Yeah,
Yes, I love it.
absolutely.
But at this moment in time, we're under contract. But that book's still going to sit in his office. So you can then, continue your follow-ups in the correct way. But the engagement is there. You don't get that engagement with any other form of media.
And sometimes that's the hardest thing, is just getting the person on the phone. Because obviously this forms part of the whole strategy. This isn't going to solve everything. It's going to fit in as part of that strategy. And phoning
Of
up
course.
a prospect on the back of sending something like that, is going to they're gonna speak to you, even if it's just exactly as you said, just to say that was great. That we haven't seen those before, even
Yeah,
if it's just to talk about the brochure itself, that video brochure. But you've had that chance then to talk to them on the phone and get that human contact with them. They know who you are.
absolutely.
And it is that's the way to marketing, really, is being able to do that human interaction.
Definitely. And that's the prospecting part. So we go to sort of cross-selling existing customers. And then in that gap between, you've got that 80-20 rule where 80% of existing clients don't know what you can do. So we
Mm.
were with a client a couple of weeks ago, and they're massive national business. And they were saying it's cost them, per head £125 to put an account manager onto an account to then say, oh, we do this, that, and the other. Well, the volumes that these guys are looking to buy the video books at, they're looking at 20 quid, £22. That's going to be sent with an overview of the business. Hi, James, did you realize we do this, that, and the other? Please scan here and we'll give you a call to explain more. And generally, you're going to get, I had no idea you did that.
Yeah.
Let's have a conversation. So there's so many ways to communicate, from the sort of initial prospecting through to cross-selling products and services, through to training, through to internal communications, events, exhibitions. So exhibitions are now up and running, obviously, at last, which is great, and they're really popular for people. A lot of our clients are buying two sizes: the smaller size for warmish leads.
Hmm.
Actually, yeah, you want one of these, and it's an overview of our business, and here's scan the QR code for more info, and then getting the bigger books for hotter leads, and they're working really well for them.
In terms of training, one thing that I know about the product, but I want you to kind of expand on, is if you're using it within a business, it's even more cost effective because it's not just a one use system. Obviously, getting it back, as you've kind of mentioned, but if they are staff, you can kind of put a bit more pressure on it. But can you reuse them? Can you re-record content over them? So if you, in terms of training, for example, could
Yeah.
you take them back in and go again with something else?
Yeah. Okay. So we have a client that has sort of 600-700 depots across the UK, and they use them for training purposes. They shoot all of their own content for the training, and they use their own staff, which is really great because John in Manchester sees Jane in Brighton and goes, "Oh, she's on the video," and it's all relative, so it's all even more
Ah,
engaging. So it's a really smart way to do it. The health and safety officers got involved, so this is just brilliant. They really enjoyed it, and I think they got some funding from their insurers because they were getting better. Their staff would be better trained, which means less accidents. So it's a
wow.
win-win for everybody. And we put an SD card slot in all of the books and sent them. Multiple depots had multiple quantities, and then when they wanted to re-record an update of legislation, they sent out an SD card to all of the depots. They just put it into the book. It overrides existing content, and they've got an up-to-date book. So again,
Perfect.
no downloads, no connection required, sort of no pop-ups, none of this. It's literally, you can put an SD card in it and upload new content. There's other ways where you can plug it into a PC or laptop and do the same. But because this was more based at warehouse workers, it was just a lot simpler just to post an SD card. Yeah, great. Here's a new one. Bang, in it goes, and you're up to date. They have a
Easy.
factory
Good.
warranty of about 6 years as well. So, and they're fully reusable, fully rechargeable. One of the reasons this particular client used video brochures, because someone's going to say, why don't you use iPads? Well, because people like iPads. And why would you want your own company branded video book with training videos on? You wouldn't want it. So, as far as we know, no one's borrowed it for too long.
Perfect. So let's finish off quickly. I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
Why? And we've covered over these, so you can come back to any other points that we've used.
Sure.
But in a nice, quick summary to finish off, why should somebody use video brochures in terms of their marketing?
Because they are the best media tool to get you engaging results, and they're cost effective. And we don't force that you have to buy big numbers initially. Now, excuse me, you can trial the 10 units if you want to. And we are so confident in the product that when you use them, you're going to think, these are awesome. We need to use them more. And people expect tangible, personable video content.
That's a good point. It's about the expectation now is where we're at. We want this personal touch. Scott, it has been a pleasure having you on. Great to learn about the video brochures and to kind of get that up. So thanks very much for coming on the pod. I think this is your first podcast.
It
so
is,
how
yes.
have you enjoyed it?
You broke my virginity this morning on the podcast. So yes, no, it's been great. I do ramble sometimes because I love the product, and when someone gives me the opportunity to talk about it, I generally go into my own little world. But yeah, I think everybody should be using them as part of a tied up campaign, a communication 100%. Campaign. It doesn't have to be marketing, it doesn't have to be sales, it can be internal. And as I said, there's no minimum order quantity from us, and we're here to help as well. We've got the opportunity to create content. One of the stumbling blocks that we have, people don't have the content, so we can help create the content, whether that's animation or video. But yeah, just shooting your own content on a phone, you'll be amazed at what sort of engagement rate you're going to get on the product. But I'm rambling again. Sorry.
It's fine. It's good. If you want to go and learn more about video brochures, which I urge you to go and do, the product is brilliant. Get there before everybody's using them as well and see those even boost in your marketing. Head over to View TV and go to their website, viewmedia.co.uk. Scott will be there on hand to help you with any questions. And obviously you can then, as he says, there's no minimum order. So trial them out, just get some orders in and see kind of those returns that everybody else is kind of getting from them. If you've enjoyed this pod, make sure you subscribe and leave a review where you listen to the pod. Remember, you can always drop any comments directly to us on our email, podcast@hellomethod.co.uk. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for listening, and we'll catch you next time.